From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya Sarachandra.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Miniparaji, and now here are today's headlines.
The Army commander says that no fee would be charged from the persons directed to the quarantine process. The Court of Appeals set to consider the writ petition filed by Ravi Karunanaike tomorrow. A housing complex consists of 624 housing units at a cost of 3,127 million rupees. Nortec National Technological and Innovation Exhibition to commence tomorrow. A nationwide lockdown in Italy to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
Now in your top story this evening, Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, says that no fee will be charged from the persons directed to the centres for quarantine. He made these remarks in a special statement made in the official website of the Sri Lanka Army. Now meanwhile, 181 persons who had arrived into the country from South Korea and Italy today have been quarantined. The government decided yesterday to direct the persons arriving from South Korea, Iran and Italy to be quarantined accordingly. The relevant procedures were initiated this morning. 166 persons who had arrived in a flight from South Korea were directed to be quarantined accordingly. 164 persons were Sri Lankans, while 2 persons were South Korean nationals. 13 persons arrived into the country from a flight from Italy via Oman. The persons arrived from the flights were quarantined by the Sri Lanka Army at a special location situated in the airport premises. Subsequently, they were taken to the quarantine centres. 24 persons were airlifted to the quarantine centre at Valikanda, Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre this noon. Another set of people were taken to the centre in 5 buses arranged by the Ministry of Health this evening. 41 persons were taken to the quarantine centre in Batticaloa this evening by 2 buses, and they will remain at these centres for a 14-day period. Meanwhile, Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, engaged in an observational tour at the Valikanda Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre in Polonnaruwa yesterday. Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, said that the quarantine process is in place with the aim to safeguard the nation. He said that protests occurred in several areas in the country in previous occasions requesting not to send people for the quarantine process in their areas. The Army commander said that another protest occurred and they stopped the demonstration after clarifying the facts with regard to the quarantine process. He also said that these centres were established within 2 days. He added that the Sri Lanka Army will take all necessary efforts to provide the best facilities for the residents at the centres during the quarantine process.
And meanwhile, all of Italy under lockdown and tougher self-quarantine measures in Israel made clear on Monday how the global coronavirus epidemic was extending its reach.
La decisione giusta oggi è di restare a casa.
Italy's Prime Minister on Monday announced that travel restrictions would be imposed across the entire country just a day after locking down much of northern Italy, security measures that were already considered drastic.
Non ci sarà più una zona rossa.
There will not be any more Zone 1 or Zone 2 in the country. It will be Italy. Italy is a protected zone.
Un'Italia zona protetta.
The announcement made Italy the first country to restrict movement nationwide, a dramatic new clampdown aimed at halting the rapidly spreading coronavirus in Europe's worst affected country. The unprecedented restrictions, which ban all public gatherings and require people not to travel except for work or emergencies, come after an alarming jump in deaths tied to the highly infectious disease in Italy, with the death toll there reaching 463. More than a quarter of which were reported in the past 24 hours. Italy has more than 9,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus, putting the national health system under massive strain.
We're encouraged that Italy is taking aggressive measures
In Geneva, the World Health Organization's director said on Monday that the coronavirus is now closer to causing a pandemic.
Now that the virus has a foothold in so many countries, the threat of a pandemic has become very real. But it would be the first pandemic in history that could be controlled.
In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday also announced more aggressive measures to stop the spread of the coronavirus, requiring all citizens who return from abroad to self-quarantine.
After a day of complex discussions, we made a decision. Anyone who arrives in Israel from abroad will enter a 14-day isolation.
Israel had already taken some of the most extreme precautions to prevent a local coronavirus outbreak, forcing visitors from many countries in Asia and Europe into isolation. In the United States, passengers aboard the Grand Princess cruise ship that was barred last week from returning to its home port of San Francisco due to an outbreak of the virus on board waved and cheered as the ship docked at the nearby port of Oakland on Monday, while tents and workers wearing protective clothing waited for them on shore. 21 people on the ship, mostly crew, tested positive on Friday for coronavirus in an initial round of screenings performed on about 45 people with symptoms. The remaining passengers will be tested and monitored for signs of the illness once they reach the next unexpected phase of their voyage, 2 weeks at a quarantine station.
Now, the Court of Appeal ordered today to consider the writ petition filed by former Finance Minister Ravi Karnanaika tomorrow. Now, warrants were issued on March 6th to arrest 10 persons, including former Finance Minister Ravi Karnanaika, over the central bank bond scam case. The personnel, including former Minister Ravi Karnanaika, have been charged for allegedly misappropriating state funds worth over 10 billion rupees during 2 central bank bond issuances in 2016. The Colombo Fort Magistrate ordered the arrest of the personnel as adequate supportive information had been submitted regarding them. The former minister was not available at the residence when the CID visited the premises several occasions to arrest him. The petition filed by former Minister Ravi Karnanaika preventing his arrest, citing that the order had been issued in an illegal manner, was taken up before a 2-member judge panel of the Court of Appeal.
And meanwhile, the construction of the high-storage building consists of 624 houses in Colombo Mavata in Navala was initiated today. Project will be completed at a cost of 3,127 million rupees. The high-storage housing complex was commenced with the aim to provide housing units for the residents living in inconvenient settlements in Colombo city. The project was initiated under the instructions of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The construction of the project was commenced under the patronage of Secretary to the Ministry of Water Supply and Housing Facilities Priyantha Bandhu Vikrama. The project was initiated under Urban Regeneration Project with the financial assistance extended from Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. 12,855 housing units have already been provided for the public under the first and second phases of the project. 5,500 housing units expected to be built under the third phase of the project. The housing project has been initiated as the first project under the third phase of the program.
Now, the old Parliament or the present Presidential Secretariat will be open for public viewing on every weekend from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. from next Saturday. Now, this opportunity has also been facilitated for visitors to take pictures of the premises. A reservation to visit the premises can be made through a letter directed to the address Director General Administration Presidential Secretariat or a fax sent to the number 0112 441 685 or calling the telephone number 0112 354 354. Now, the old parliamentary building represents a decisive era of the country's political history. The building, which was designed in accordance to Indian architectural style, was built 82 years ago. The exterior facade of the building building depicts the Parthenon temple dedicated to goddess Athena, situated at the Acropolis mountaintop in Athens. Former Governor Sir Herbert Stanley established this building on the 29th of January 1930 as a constitutional council. With the constitutional reforms and the amendments made over the name of the Constitution, the establishment was titled as the State Council during 1931 to 1947 period. The establishment was later titled as the House of Representatives during the 1947 to 1972 period. The complex was titled as the National State Council till 1978, and the title was refashioned as the Parliament of Sri Lanka until 1982. After shifting the Parliament to Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte, the historic parliamentary building was converted into the Presidential Secretariat on the 8th of September 1983.
And Nortec 2020 National Technology and Innovation Exhibition set to commence tomorrow. The exhibition has organized by the Higher Education Technology. The Nortec 2020 National Technology and Innovation Exhibition will be held from March 11 to 14 on the premises of Sri Lanka Institute of Nanotechnology, NSBM Grain University, Mahinda Rajapaksa National School and the Department of Measurements, Units and Standard Services in Pitipana, Homagama. The Nortec exhibition will be held with the main objective of promoting science literacy at all levels of the society and showcasing research and development outcomes and innovations of the institutes and universities operating under the purview of the ministry. The exhibition will consist of 3 zones: an education zone, innovation zone and a research and development zone. The exhibition will display products and prototypes created as a result of research and development work of institutes and universities, inventions, entertainment activities, knowledge on new and emerging technologies, mobile planetarium, night sky observation camps, awareness materials to increase knowledge on STEM and other related fields. The exhibition will be open from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. during all 4 days, and entry will be free of charge.
Now, Chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, is set to participate in today's Mahajana Dina special program, which will discuss public issues and concerns. The program will be telecasted live at 10:30 p.m. on the national television. Chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, and the members of the Commission, President Council Nalin J. Abesekara and Ratna Jeevanatu will take part in today's program. A panel of journalists will direct their queries to the Commission members over the election and other related matters.
And the headquarters of the Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of the Science was declared open today. The event was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Many programs have been initiated by the association with the intent to promote science subjects among the students. Specialists in the field of medicine, engineering, agriculture, chemistry and physical sciences were of the membership of this association. Ministers and diplomats were present on this occasion.
Now, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry for Political Victimization issued summons on 5 personnel, including former UMP parliamentarian Thusita Vijayamana and former CID Director Shani Abesekara today. Now, the summons were issued with regard to 2 incidents which are currently being heard with the Commission. It was revealed before the Commission that influences have been made in connection to the suspect of the incident related to the murder of a UMP supporter in Kahawata. The summons were issued on former UMP parliamentarian Thusita Vijayamana and ASP Kingsley Gunasekara in order to record a statement from them. Meanwhile, recording a statement with the Commission, suspended senior DIG Lalit Jayasinghe said that police officers Shani Abesekara, Nishant De Silva and B.S. Desera had filed false evidence against him during the investigation. He also had further said that the CID has arrested him without completing any criminal investigation against him. He said that he was directed to the officers of the Gang Robbery Investigation Division of the CID, Nishant De Silva and B.S. Desera, and the division was headed by SSP Shani Abesekara. He said that when the CID reached to obtain a statement from him, officers Ravi Seneviratna, Sugat Nagahamulla and Shani Abesekara said that they are obliging to an order received from the top.
And former parliamentarian Ranga Banda has challenged the former opposition leader Sajith Premadasa for a debate over the responsible entities who sabotaged the creation of a new alliance. He made these remarks at a media briefing today. Former parliamentarian Palit Ranga Banda rejected the claims made by former parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriyala regarding the creation of the alliance. He also rejected the claims made on the handing of the documents regarding the alliance of the UNP Working Committee. He said that the UNP Working Committee decided not to interfere with the conducting of the relevant meetings and to contest the elections as a United National Party under the elephant symbol. If the agreement to form the alliance failed to be reached and the Samagi Janabalavege to sabotage the process, the former parliamentarian challenged the former opposition leader Sajid Premadasa for a debate over the responsible entities who sabotaged the creation of a new alliance on the new television network if anyone claims these remarks to be false and baseless. He said the truth can be unveiled with the written evidence which are in their possession.
Now, former parliamentarian Janaka Vakamura says that the price rate of fuel will be reduced by tomorrow in a considerable manner. Now, he made these remarks at a media briefing held at the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Perumana office today. Former parliamentarian Janaka Vakamura said the UNP has claimed that the present government has not reduced the fuel prices. However, he said that in accordance to the fuel price formula, the price rates would still be at a high rate. He also said that the present government, along with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, will take measures to reduce the fuel prices tomorrow in a much considerable way on behalf of the people. He also said that the present government, led by the President and Prime Minister, would not enter into agreements with the UNP.
And the first-year student of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University who sustained injuries during an event is still receiving treatments in the intensive care unit of the Colombo National Hospital. Reports have alleged that the accident has occurred after a tire was dropped on the first-year student by a group of senior university students. Pasindu Hirushan, who is in critical condition, has enrolled into the university in the previous year. The accident has occurred on March 5th. Pasindu, the youngest of the family of 3 children, had lost his mother at a younger age. His father has provided education for the student amid many difficulties. University Administrative Authority has also commenced a probe over the incident. Meanwhile, Minister Bandula Gunawardena visited the intensive care unit of the National Hospital to inquire into the condition of the child today. Commemorating the International Women's Day, the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Colombo, organized a panel discussion on work-life balance, a critical gender perspective today. The panel comprised the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Colombo, Senior Professor Chandrika Vijayaratna, Director General of the Department of Census and Statistics and former PhD student Dr. I.R. Bandara, and Head of the Department of History at the University of Colombo, Dr. Janaki Jayawardena. The tradition of the commemorating International Women's Day at the Faculty of Graduate Science was introduced by Senior Professor Naini Melagoda in 2016. The Faculty of Graduate Studies has the honor of having introduced the first ever master's program in women's studies in the Sri Lankan university system in 1991.
I would like to applaud the women, not because I am a woman, but I am sure if I was a man, I would still say so, that women-led initiatives in Sri Lanka have been actually very successful. Why I say this with confidence is on the health aspect. We have had 100% immunization coverage, and that is due to the mother's commitment. Child health and undernutrition has been as much as possible optimized, and the malnutrition figures, although there is poverty, still the mothers would even starve to feed their young. Similarly, their expectations of being literate for the sake of their family's well-being is commendable, and we really need to appreciate this. So whether we come from the humanities or the STEMs, we need to address these. And in fact, at one of the policy level decisions that we made with the new government and the new president, His Excellency, we were able to propose that we should give an optional module for those who are following the STEMs. You know, it's hard science and facts, mathematics and so on, but you need to be also socially conscious, and they can do an optional program on these subjects. And that is something I'm sure our deans, fellow deans, would be very happy to consider and revive. I understand these opportunities were there before.
On to more local stories. Passenger boat service from Valavatta to Battaramulla is set to commence from tomorrow. Now, the objective is to create an alternate solution to traffic congestion. The passenger boat transportation service will commence at 8 a.m. tomorrow at the Valavatta boat jetty. It is being conducted by a private company affiliated to a land development corporation. The boat service will be conducted on the canal that leads on to Battaramulla to Valavatta. A boat will be operated once in every 30 minutes during the period 6:50 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Valavatta to Diyathaviyana in Battaramulla. A similar boat service will be operated from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The journey can be completed in 25 minutes. Now, the price of a ticket for a ride is at 60 rupees. 4 air-conditioned boats will be deployed in the initial stages of the program. The new boat service has been initiated with the assistance of the Sri Lankan Navy.
And with that, we conclude tonight news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.